everyone, this is Professor Benjamin, and we have finished week 7 of this course. So we're moving into week 8, which is language. This week you covered industry, and don't forget by Sunday 11:59 you have your outline due for your projects. So some of you still never handed in a thesis statement to me, and remember the thesis statement is you can find the thesis statements under course project here, instructions for a proposal outline and final draft for paper. You can find the topics right here, and these are the specific topics I want. So this is the exact wording that I want for your thesis statement for your research. Now, if you said research languages and describe how languages have changed humanity, you probably are going to need to zero in on a specific language or two. But overall, these are the research topics I want. I used to let students make their own thesis statements, and I wound up writing everyone's thesis statement for them. So now I just give you your thesis statement and you research that thesis statement. So at the top of your outline should be your thesis statement and then your outline. Your outline should be super detailed. Sublettering, it really should be almost your paper written, except for a couple filler words. So if you need help with your outline or you're not sure what that is, right under here, if you click on outline, it actually tells you right here, here's your outline, and I give you under the course information, the course project module, examples of how to create an outline. Of course, there's always your best friend, which is YouTube, to help you create an outline. I mean, they'll give you examples. Somebody will walk you through how to create an outline. If you've never created an outline before, you probably should have started this a little bit before the week that it's due. And so it's hard for me to help you from a remote location on how to create an outline. So if you look here, I put a document under here on how to create an outline. And so here is a wonderful it gives you examples, it tells you how to do that, all of that kind of stuff. So it's really important that you start your outline for your project, because in 2 weeks from now, your draft of your final paper is due. So the outline will really tell me how much research you've done, how much time you've put into this, and how committed you are to doing well in this class. So the outline will show me a lot about where you are in this class. I know you have a lot due. I know that this is midterm week, but I have the outline there on purpose because it gives me some time to give you some ample feedback. And then you have another assignment due, which is the religion assignment here. And then this is when November 10th is when your first draft is due. So I really want to give you that time in there to write your draft. So I want to give you feedback, and then it'll give you enough time to write a draft for me. And don't forget, November 10th, we're only 18 days away from the end of the semester. So it's really important for you to be stepping up your game at this point. So this week, last week we covered industry. A lot of you, did really well on your forum posts. A lot of you talked about bankrupt cities. Detroit is a great example of a bankrupt city. Somebody even posted in there about Atlantic City. But yeah, Detroit is a bankrupt city. It is, unfortunately, that bankruptcy allowed a lot of international individuals to come in and buy property in Detroit. So there is a large Chinese conglomerate who own property in Detroit. So unfortunately, the one downside of that is the fact that these will most likely be all rental properties. So individuals will probably not move from China here to live in Detroit. They'll all be rental properties, which is not really great for Detroit, because especially if international interests bought these properties at lower tax rates, the city is never going to see that money back again. So there's a lot of issues with when cities go bankrupt and how they restructure in order to have people come back in and want to buy properties in Detroit. So keep that in mind. Some of you talked about NAFTA. Of course, there are a lot of issues with NAFTA. I know President Trump is trying to bring trade to rework those deals, the North American trade deals, etc. But of course, the way he's going about it is not the most productive way to do business. But the trade agreements that we created with Mexico and Canada did cause a significant amount of strife in Mexico. The large migrants from Mexico that have come to the United States have done so because they used to be corn farmers. And when we created NAFTA, we flooded Mexico's market with cheap corn. And then that put a lot of farmers out of business in Mexico, which then led to the immigration issue or the migration issue of Mexican immigrants to the United States looking for work, because we created that situation with the North American Trade Agreement. So there are some downsides to NAFTA, and so keep that in mind. So, a lot of you did a great job on your industry post. This week, we're going to head into languages. I love languages. I think it's fantastic. There's an awesome podcast on languages that I'll send out to you as well. It's by a linguist, and it's really cool. They dive really deep into specific words each week, which is really, really, really cool. But languages is a wonderful topic this week. There is the National Geographic Lost Language Project is really interesting. They go around the world and they try and find languages that are almost extinct, and they record those languages and keep them on file so that we know what these languages are and how they've come back. And your textbook talks about some really cool languages that are on the rise again that almost went extinct in the past. So take a look at that. But the Lost Language Project is really interesting. Issues with the mandates, like English-only mandates, and other countries having like French-only mandates, etc., and what problems. Of course, people think, well, if we have an English-only mandate, what is that issues? Well, a lot of times it has to do with economic issues. So if we have more than one main language in the United States, we're also going to it's going to cost the government a significant amount of money to publish everything in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 languages. And so that's why a lot of times there's a huge pushback there's a huge pushback on the fact of the English-only mandate. So, everyone wants English only. The government does. But it's really for political reasons. It has nothing to do usually with the fact that we're pushing back against other languages in the United States. It is very costly to the government. They'd have to make every sign, think about every street sign, everything with multiple languages on it, if we are to say that other languages are the other main languages in the United States. So take that into account when you're answering the question about the English-only mandate. So a lot of wonderful topics that we're going to cover this week. Don't forget that you have a quiz due on industry by October 20th, 11:59, as well as your outline. Next week, you'll have your initial post due for language due by Tuesday, response post due by Thursday, and quiz due by next Sunday, October 27th, 11:59. And then if you're looking ahead, if you're the type of student who wants to look ahead, the following will cover religion, and you'll have your last assignment for me due this semester, which is on a religion. So you have to pick a religion that you're not familiar with, and I think I actually added in there a list of religions that I want you to choose from. If I haven't done that, then I will go back this week and do so. But I would like, oh yes, I did. I added in the religions that you can pick from. So you have to pick a religion from that list that's listed there. Okay, but have a fantastic week. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Most of you are doing a fantastic job in this course, so keep up the good work. I know it's a high-pressure class and it requires a lot of work, but remember, it also has a lot of rewards to it. You check a lot of boxes with this class, so success will help you in checking a lot of those major academic approaches for you. Again, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I look forward to your posts this week as well as your outlines. I really look forward to your outlines.